was one actual case that I like to talk about where a guy was a skeptic. It was a case here in Madisonville. It was probably about back earlier in February. We were called to do a case there. They had been seeing dark shadows and stuff like that there in the hallways, having things fall off walls, have stuff being moved. And he was a diehard skeptic, didn't believe it. He thought maybe it was just a natural thing until his wife had us come in and we done an investigation there. And we actually caught voices of one saying his best friend's name and how he died.
Which I actually picked up beforehand, and I had never met this family in my entire life. Gave him the name, how he passed away, and the area, the time that he was born, and the time of his passing.
And we actually also caught one of the claims of stuff falling off the walls too. And then we did the house cleansing and the blessing, and sometimes when the spirit leaves the place, sometimes it may just go out a window, it may go out a door. But in this case, there was a vent down on the wall instead of at the top. And so now, we all know sometimes how the vent's at the top, if moisture gets in there, it can drain and cause a residue to come down the wall. Well, in this case, it came from the vent going up through the ceiling after we got done. Nothing was there when we did the place, nothing was there when we left the place. They called in the next day to come back out, and it left the residue, and it was thick, yellow, and sticky. And so he became a true believer after that one. Next slide. Paranormal. A lot of people don't believe in the paranormal because they can't explain it. But paranormal events are basically phenomena described in popular culture, folklore, and non-scientific bodies of knowledge, whose existence within these contexts is described to lie beyond normal experience or scientific explanation. In other words, if a scientist can't explain it, then, and there's no logical explanation, then it's got to be above normal, which describes paranormal. That can be voices coming out of nowhere that you hear with your own ears. It can be voices called on a digital recorder that is too low for the human ear to actually be able to pick up, which is only picked up through an electronic device. Or it can be something that can't be seen with your own eyes, but can be picked up on infrared camera or full spectrum or thermal camera. In terms of the trade, a lot of the terms the trade that paranormal investigators use is debunk. That's where we try to find logical explanations for a haunting, like say maybe someone's experiencing a knocking on the floor or in the walls. Well, it could be a number of things like the loose piping, air being caught through the pipe, which at a certain point, if the air conditioner kicks on or a water faucet kicks on, when it starts going through that pipe, the pipe is loose, it can make that pipe shake and it can bang against the wall or floor. Or claims of a doors opening and closing, check for open windows or breeze. Sometimes you know how you get that vacuum suction, you close one door and it causes the door in the back room to close. Another thing is EMF. EMF, electronic magnetic frequencies or fields, anything electronic, certain light bulbs, stereos, TVs, radios, refrigerators, anything like that can put off EMF. High EMF can make you think you're experiencing paranormal activity, but it can also be a conductor for paranormal activity. Reason being, because if the electronic thing has high EMF, it can cause hallucinations, paranoia, fatigue, headaches, nausea, rashes, make you feel lethargic. But it can also give that spirit, if there is a spirit there, to feed off that and give them more energy to either manifest, speak, touch you, move objects, or anything like that right there.
They also feed off of depression, they feed off anger, they feed off addictions, anything like that, which causes the individual who is experiencing that thing to weaken, which is a feeding ground basically for the entity, which can cause an attachment.
EVP, electronic voice phenomenon. As I stated earlier, that's a voice that is picked up, that's not heard with the human ear, but it's only picked up through a recording device. Disembodied voice, that's a voice that you hear with your own ears without the use of an electronic device. And if you hear a voice with your own ears, then that means that spirit has more energy than one that does not, that you cannot hear. And sometimes a disembodied voice can also be picked up on an electronic device, which can give you the authenticity to show that proof. Classes of EVP, there's 3 classes of EVPs. There's the Class A, Class B, and Class C. Class A EVP is a EVP that is clearly heard without the use of any type of enhancement or any type of filtering. I mean, it's plain as me and you talking. Class B, that's an EVP that is understood, but you may have to turn the volume up, or maybe you have to try to clean it up a little bit. Class C, that's a EVP that it cannot be understood. It cannot be, no matter how high you enhance the audio, no matter how much you try taking out background noise or anything like that, it's just there, you know it's there, but you can't make out what it's saying.
That's another big thing. A lot of people look at paranormal groups, they think any audio that we get, that we switch it around, we do whatever to make what we catch actually be there. The way we do ours, the filters we use don't do anything to it. All it does is enhance the volume on so we can hear. It doesn't change anything to the recording. So basically what you hear on these, you hear the background noise and everything around them, but it's not been filtered out. So that's one big thing everybody worries about. They're like, oh, well, they done this, you altered that. We don't do any of that. What we catch on our recorders gets dumped right onto the laptop.
What you hear is how we captured it. Apparitions. There's 4 stages of apparitions. There's the crisis apparition. Sometimes you may hear stories of someone laying in bed, all of a sudden they may see their friend or their relative or something like that appear next to them. And then about 5 minutes later you get a phone call saying such and such passed away. That's a crisis apparition. That's a moment of death apparition. So when they get that phone call saying such and such passed away, well, you're like, well, they were just here, I just seen them. I mean, and there's a full body apparition. That's an apparition that looks just like me and you. I mean, just solid as can be. You can make out all details, all features. Then there's the shadow figure. A lot of people may call them shadow figures. Some may call them shadow people. Some may call them black masses. A lot of people automatically assume that these type of entities are evil. That's not necessarily the case. Sometimes they may not just have enough energy to fully manifest themselves where they can, where you can actually see who they are, make out who they are. Sometimes they may choose not to because they're scared it may cause you more grief if you knew who they were. They may just be there checking up on you to make sure, like a guardian angel or something like that right there. Then there's also the spirit orb. A lot of things can be mistaken as orbs. I myself, a spirit orb is actually an orb that you can see with your own eyes without the use of any type of camera, whether it be a digital camera, whether it be a camcorder, because it puts off its own light source and has its own flight pattern.
Yeah, we usually get in a pretty big argument about what it is.
Hauntings. There's 4 different types of hauntings. You got your basic human residual intelligence, which is like me or you, like a loved one, or maybe someone who passed away in a house, that type of haunting. A residual haunting is basically like an imprint that's left in time. I mean, just like a movie playing itself over and over and over again. It has no acknowledgement of you. It can't talk to you. It can't interact with you, and you can't interact with it. It's just there, reliving the same routines it did when it was there before. A intelligent haunting, that's different. They can speak to you, they can touch you, they can move things, they can make noises to let you know they're there. Then you got your poltergeist. Poltergeist things, those are actually spirits. They're not spirits at all. A poltergeist is basically brought on by someone who's going through extreme emotional distress, which is like a telekinetic type thing. I mean, they don't know to bring it on. It's just there, and the only type of way that you can actually deal with a poltergeist thing is if you have that person go through some type of therapy to kind of release that distress or let with that type of emotion. It's normally brought on by a young female or someone who may be going through a hard time, like bankruptcy, loss of a job, something like that right there. Elementals. A lot of people believe in elementals, some don't. Those are basically like your nature spirits. Fairies, dwarves, elves, stuff like that right there. Gnomes. Those are basically big overseas. Then you got your demonic. that's basically do with demons and stuff like that right there. There's a lot of things that can cause demonic activity, and there's certain ways that it can be taken care of, but it takes a lot of work, and we'll get into that a little later on. Do's and the don'ts. If you think you're having experiences, contact someone like a pastor or a local paranormal team. Do not try to make contact yourself, as in a Ouija board or seances. Don't provoke it or taunt it.
Never do that, never.
Don't attempt to cleanse the house yourself if you don't have any experience. Don't investigate alone, because that can cause some real problems, attachments, or possible personal injuries. Take notes such as a journal of what happens, where it happens at the time.
I'm gonna bring up that one case, and saying no names or anything. I'll just say it was here in Hopkins County, or that one case we dealt with, and the Ouija board, and how that brought on. We actually had a case, and I believe it was back in January. It happened in Arlington, that's all I can say, can't give the name of anything. And it was a legit possession case, just like you've seen in the exorcism movies, it was just like that. And what actually brought it on was she was playing a Ouija board. For some reason, she thought that it would be a good idea to burn the Ouija board and then bury it. You never, ever, ever do that. There is a right way to open and a right way to close them. We, as a team, do not believe in playing with Ouija boards. We do not mess with them because we believe they open up a portal and they can cause possession cases. And they are very real. We have done 4 of them in Hopkins County alone.
Most of all, stay calm, because they feed off any type of emotions, addiction, would be fear, anxiety, depression, drug addictions, alcohol addictions, or anything like that right there. So pretty much try to stay calm. I know it's easier said than done, but that's the main thing right there.
Bill,
Yes.
I'm sorry, I'm very sorry to interrupt.
Are you
But it
fine?
seems like we have a good problem, we're running out of room. So if everybody could scoot their chairs to the outside, that way if anybody else comes in late, we can make more room in the center for chairs. That would be great, and I'm so sorry to interrupt.
Oh, they can bring the chairs up a little bit too.
And you can also scoot up.
Yeah, y'all can also scoot your chairs up if you want to try to make room in the back. Scoot y'all's chairs up. Ma'am. Y'all kind of scoot y'all's chairs up some. All right, the next thing, attachments. Attachments can come through any type of form. You can go to an auction, a yard sale, a flea market, an antique shop, have something passed down to you. And that object belongs to someone who had a close emotional bond to it, or a real sentimental value to it. If their spirit is still hanging around, they're gonna go where that object goes. So it's just as simple as going somewhere and picking that up. I mean, you can bring it home with you. So you might want to be kind of careful doing that sometimes. Sleep paralysis. This is also known as the old hag syndrome or old witch syndrome. A lot of people experience this. I mean, it's a very common thing where someone may be asleep, all of a sudden they feel something like tight pressure on their chest. They can't move, they can't speak, they can't holler, they can't move at all. A lot of times they feel that may be a demonic presence. It may be true sometimes, but a lot of times it's also just a medical issue called sleep paralysis. Stages of possession. This goes through the demonic. First stage is infestation. I mean, that can be anything from objects moving, appliances turning off and on, could be mistaken for regular human hauntings, objects thrown, normally at a specific target, knocking, banging, pounding. And a lot of times that happens in 3. That's the mocking of the Trinity. Christ was crucified at 3 p.m. and so they use 3 a.m. as their time of their most active. Religious objects are desecrated. That can be crosses, that can be religious pictures, it can be the Bible itself. Animals may appear frightened, it can become sick, it can mimic or take shape of a human spirit, but there's always a flaw, normally in the eyes and in the hands. A lot of times, if you see someone that you may know Pay attention to the eyes. If it's really them, everything on them will be perfect. If it's demonic, the eyes may be black and appear shark-like. It can also mimic their voice. So pay attention to the voice also if it decides to speak to you. If it's someone you know, then their voice will appear like it always is. If it's demonic, either that tone will either be higher or it'll be lower.
Or multiple voices could come out at once.
There may be growling sounds with no source. If you don't have a dog, you hear growling, then you know something's going on. Activity could spike when a religious person is around. And it's like if a priest comes in, or a pastor, or a preacher, the activity may pick up. I mean, it may have objects being thrown. You may be having people get scratched, hit. Physical, psychological, and even sexual attacks can happen. There could also be levitation of objects, foul odors such as feces, or rotten eggs, or meat, or sulfur.
Or just death in general.
Combination of all of them.
Right. Stage 2, that's oppression. That's usually when it starts affecting the emotions, thoughts, sleep, and can cause the victim to hear voices. But don't be mistaken, that can also be a sign of a medical issue as well. Temporarily take over the victim's body, but not permanently. It'll break you down physically, mentally, and emotionally, and it can also be signs of a mental illness, like it could be anything from multiple personalities, it could be bipolar or something like that right there. The final stage is possession. This is when it takes full control of you, full control of your thoughts, your emotions.
The character will change.
There's 2 types of possession. There's the transient, that's where the demonic will enter you. It may stay for a little bit and it may leave. Then there's the actual full body possession to where it stays in you for good. The main goal and the objective for a demonic attack and possession is to make a person commit suicide, to kill them, pretty much. This is the stage of when the demonic entity has taken over the body and an exorcism is needed. Signs of activity. If you think you're having that paranormal activity or something like that, check for cold spots. If you experience a scent that is related to a person that has passed away, it may be a cologne, maybe perfume, it could be a certain type of pipe they smoked, it could be a certain deodorant they use, or it could be anything like that. Pay attention to how your body responds. Goosebumps, hair standing on the edge. You may feel an electrical charge. You may feel like you walk into a spider web.
You may even just get a feeling of overwhelming fear come over you from nowhere. So we suggest if you feel that, you get out. You never force yourself in a situation, ever.
Pay attention to how animals react. Are you seeing anything out of the corner of your eye, hearing voices, footsteps, maybe some knocking, banging, something like that right there?
Like wolves.
Go ahead.
Alright, like Bill just said, pay attention to the way animals act. Alright, we've been on investigations before where the claims have been pretty bad. You walk in a house and you got 2 full-grown dogs that aren't scared of anything, and they'll look dead into an empty room, nobody in there. Fur stands up on their back, and they'll start growling like somebody's about to attack them. An animal will pick up on stuff faster than what you can. Especially
Children
canines.
as well. Children
Yeah.
are very sensitive to the paranormal.
Yeah, you got one right there.
Animals, they have a different, their senses are a lot sharper than ours, or higher. They can see things we can't see because animals see in infrared, where we only have the one spectrum of light that we are able to see in. What can spirits do? Human spirits can usually not move heavy objects. They're limited on what they can move and what they can do because it takes them, they have to draw energy from any source that they can draw from. So if you're having they can turn on electronic devices, they can turn lights on, they can turn TVs on, they can turn stereos on. They can move small objects, but they can't move anything real heavy because they don't have enough energy to do so.
Like that.
It's important to know the intention of the spirit because human spirits will and can turn on radio as I stated. But the reason to find out the intention, that way you'll know on how to react to it and how to deal with it, whether their intentions are good or whether their intentions are bad. Human spirits who are malevolent have different intentions. Malevolent spirits If they're real angry and stuff like that there, then it's possible that they can draw enough energy to move heavier objects, but they are limited on how heavy they can lift or move. It can be like a demonic spirit where they can throw a heavy object towards you or something like that, but they can move heavier objects, and they may be able to move maybe a heavy chair or something like that, but not pick it up. A human spirit can have emotional effects on the living, and they can affect your dream and emotional state. In other words, you may have experienced before where you walk into a certain room and get a heavy feeling of dread. Or you may walk into a certain room and all of a sudden just get angry for no reason. That's because if the spirit is there, then they're making you feel what they had felt while they were alive, whether they were going through a certain sickness with stomach pains, all of a sudden they start getting a sharp pain in your stomach. Or if you go into a certain room and say, for instance, you start crying for no reason, that could be tough. That may have been their last emotions they experienced, that they were dying or something like that, and all of a sudden they were crying because they were leaving behind a loved one, something like that.
That's it.
All right, now what we're gonna do, we're gonna allow you to ask a few questions before we start going into the audio and the visual and pictures, if you have any questions. Any questions?
Yeah, I got one. We've already seen it. Take that one.
Yeah, we'll just build laptop, I'm not used to it.
Other side,
The take
right next to the.
Yeah, I do have a question.
We're gonna start off with a few EVPs.
We have a question back there.
Oh, okay, go ahead. Yes,
Do
ma'am.
you believe that this is real? Do you,
Yeah. I mean,
well, I have seen others paranormal, and they'll show you the audios, the pictures, but I don't believe this.
Nothing wrong with it.
I'm thinking, what?
A lot of the groups you'll have, every group you have, everyone you run across, you're gonna have a skeptic in the group.
Well, like
But this was
it's-
believed, this was who was actually doing, and had taken the pictures, and had taken the audios, and had gone on all these investigations, and then they say,
Go back to school.
but I don't believe this.
Well, the thing, I mean, you always wanna go in as a skeptic anyways.
And so I thought, well, I was gonna see if you believe it.
Our job is to go in and debunk. You never actually want paranormal
I
activity.
mean, when we go into a case, I mean, we always go in as a skeptic, trying to disprove it first.
Oh,
Yes.
I understand that, but they didn't believe
Right.
it.
Yes, ma'am.
That's why they finished.
What does it mean when you see not a small orb, but one that's about that big and a big orb?
I mean, like a big ball of light.
Yes. Single, but it's, like I said, it's big.
Stay in the same place all the time.
I seen it once when I was my daughter's age. And when it was there, and when I woke up, as soon as I seen it, it was gone.
Where'd you see that? Was it inside of a house
It
or
was
was it
inside of a
outside?
house.
I believe that could have possibly been, usually whenever you see an orb, that's the first stage of them trying to manifest themselves, to show themselves. It's a big ball of energy, basically.
Yeah, that's the smallest form of an apparition, and it usually goes from orb, mist, shadow, then the full body.
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
How do you get, like, if you dream about a certain person that passed away, and they're there, but you can't understand what they're trying to get you to say, how do you get them to explain it better?
Okay. This would be where I said, the psychic medium. Spirit will come in dreams, but the thing about spirit is they may show themselves physically, but they do not speak, like you will not see their mouth move. They will leave symbols. It could be,
Change.
it could be anything, yeah, they can, that's one of the things, finding silver laying around, change, loose change. White feathers is usually a sign from spirit. You know how if you hear yourself thinking, okay, or if you're ever going to work and you get a gut feeling that you needed to take a different route, that is your spirit trying to guide you to save you. They're good. They do visit in dreams, and like I said, they will leave you symbols, signs. You can ask for specific signs, and you will need to pay attention to everything. license plates on vehicles. You may see it, you may smell it, you may hear it, but your sign will be known. You can even give them a time limit. I want a white feather in 24 hours.
It'll also be numbers.
Numbers, yes, numbers. They go through numbers. Usually double numbers such as 1111, 333, any double numbers like that are angel numbers. Spirit, they will, like I said, you won't actually see their mouth moving, but you can ask them to come through clear. Give me a sign of what you're trying to say because I'm not understanding you. But they will, you may hear another voice inside of your head that you have no idea where that came from. And typically that is spirit speaking to you.
Well, is there anything you can, if you're in the dream with them, is there anything you can, I guess you could say to them?
Oh, you can talk to them, yes,
Okay.
and I would suggest taking up meditation. Meditation is a very relaxing, calming thing, and that's where you can actually come in contact with your deceased loved one or friends or even your spirit guides. And you can ask them questions. How do we know each other in our other lifetimes? Who was we together? Why, for instance, I have one of our investigators' family actually just committed suicide, and it's really, really, really been bothering her. And Spirit's been coming to her in dreams, and she's actually finally getting answers through her dreams. So if you just ask them, it may take them a little bit because it does take a lot of energy for Spirit, but you will eventually get your answers. And like I said, you can ask for specific signs and symbols from them, and they will give it to you. You just have to pay attention to everything. It's always important to remember there is no such thing as coincidences.
Well, I do that.
Yeah, so you can just ask them and tell them, I don't understand what you're trying to say, I need you to come in more clear, and they will do that. But it's also it's also important to ask if you do see a deceased loved one or a friend, to ask them, are you of the light? They will not lie to you. You want those of the light. If they are not of the light, you need to tell them to go on where they need to go. So, yeah.
Alright, I've got a question. 2013, my father passed away.
Mhm.
He was in a motorcycle accident. Right. They brought him back, but it's hard for me to talk back because it's my dad. When he passed away, he went home. Is that normal or? I mean, I don't understand. I've never.
Like, did he pass in his home? Is that what
No,
you're saying?
he was here in Madisonville. He was at the intersection by McDonald's, and we live in Slaughters. When he was struck, he was thrown through the intersection completely.
A lot of spirits, when they pass away, they go to where they felt the safest and then they felt the
They
happiest.
go,
I mean-
they'll go to something they'll know.
I mean, that's why a lot of times you hear stories of certain schools being haunted. I mean, because children may have had a bad home life, but they felt safe and they were happy at school. So, I mean, that's where.
And a lot of spirit tends to stay, they pass on, but we can call them down here at any time. That's what I do during my readings. And after this, I can talk to you, I can
I
help
mean,
you.
he's still here today because luckily he was brought back. There was trained professionals right behind him when it happened.
Right.
But it's the fact that he remembers it. He remembers everything about it. I've got very sensitive people in my family.
Mhm.
And he was such a skeptic. And that actually changed him, having that experience.
Right.
It was just something like, I've never actually had it explained. It kind of made me wonder if maybe, because at the time he was falling. He was falling out of his religion. It made me think maybe because of that, he wasn't going where we had all thought he would be going.
It's important to know, spirit does automatically pass on to heaven, right? They do. Even if they done bad, they will go through purgatory, which is where they're gonna relive any hurtful thing they said for a period of time, but they will pass on. So, after this, if you want me to, I can sit down and do a reading for you because I feel like you got a lot of guilt, like a lot of unanswered questions that you need, and I will get with you after this and try to make connection and see what I can pick up for you, okay? Try to give you closures, and then I'll also send you some podcasts for meditations that's gonna help you as well.
You got that one there, like.
Okay, we're gonna get into some EVPs now, or let you hear some actual spirit voices. This first one that we're gonna play, this was captured in Hopkinsville at the Lone Oak House Museum. We were still in the process of setting up the equipment, running the cables and stuff. And we just happened to have a recorder going at the time. And you'll hear, right down in this area right here, you'll hear like an old woman saying, apologizing and saying like, whoops, I'm sorry, like she was in our way. So we'll play that and let you hear that. And if you didn't catch it, I'll loop that for you real quick.
And if any of y'all hear anything different, please share what you heard in it.
This next one is gonna, excuse me. This was captured in Brandenburg at the Jailhouse Pizza, formerly Old Mead Jail.
That's a good place to eat.
Yes, it is, I agree. It's one of the best pizza there is, by the way.
Yes,
And when they give you a pizza, they give you a pizza.
Yes, yeah, I was there for 2 days.
But we were,
Over on End's another good place.
yeah. And just like Lone Oak House Museum, we were still in the process of setting up, getting camera angles, running the cables and stuff. And you'll hear one of our former members say, yeah, let's get all the lights out so I can't see. And pretty much after that, you'll hear a little girl talking, and it sounds like she screams here at the end. I may have to enhance this down here at the end. I'll see how it goes.
Yeah, let's turn all the lights out so I can't see tape.
Were y'all able to hear that?
Now.
Do you need me to enhance it a little bit, or?
Now, there was no children on that premises at all, and actually during my walkthrough, because during our investigations, I kind of like not knowing what we're walking into just to see what I pick up on, and I actually chased this little girl down and I seen her. She was wearing a white dress, she had on these little black and white shoes, and she had curly blonde hair, and I had told Bill I felt that there was a little girl there, and then shortly after that, we had caught that EVP.
This next one is from Adams, Tennessee. It was at the Bell Cabin. If you're associated with the Bell Witch, then you pretty much know this is actually not John's cabin, but it's his son's cabin that he used some of his lumber to help build his cabin. So we were investigating that. I mean, it's a good investigation. We had doors slammed on us, chair thrown down, pretty much the whole 9 yards.
Didn't you get
Footsteps.
smacked
Huh?
Didn't you get smacked on that?
Yeah, in the back of the head.
Misty, were you there?
Not that time.
But we had left the recorder sitting in the cabin, and we were investigating 3 other buildings, so there was no one in this cabin whatsoever. But you'll hear, I'll just play it.
You'll hear it.
It's pretty much self-explanatory.
Yeah, loop there for a minute. And there's no echo. You'd
That was
figure there
actually
would be an
captured
echo.
right after the chair got slammed down, and we walked out to go investigate 3 other buildings. So I guess he was laughing at us for, yeah, I guess.
I guess, we kind of figured that he was laughing because he got us out
Did
of
you
there.
guys investigate the cave too?
No.
Not the cave, but I mean, from what I understand with the cave, all the information I've been told, they had the audio set up in there and lights, so I'm kind of skeptic about going and trying to investigate that, because you don't know what they're going to be trying to pull one over on you or what. This next one, this was actually captured using the spirit box, the SB7 spirit box. The way we use the spirit box, we take we have removed the antenna to cut down.
Which is this thing right here.
Yeah, so we remove the antenna to help eliminate any chances of radio interferences coming through, and we also use it in reverse sweep. That way it's going backwards instead of forwards at the fastest sweep rate.
This may be a little loud.
Yeah, it may be a
Fair
little loud.
warning.
If it is, I'll turn it down. But this was actually captured at Bobby Mackey's Music World in Wilder, Kentucky. I don't know if you ever heard that place or not.
Ain't that the porthole to hell or something?
Yes.
Yeah.
I actually
You wanna show them that video?
I was standing in the well while this was captured, by the way. But you'll hear me ask if this place was used as any type of satanic ritual place. I can't remember the exact question, but you'll hear right down here a female voice come across the spirit box saying no.
Is this really the place that's once used as a place for devil worship?
And I'll loop that way you can hear it in case you missed it. Never say never.
Sounds like they started never a little bit in the beginning too.
It may have.
Kind of in the middle there.
Yeah, kind of in the middle.
Yeah, sometimes
It
they
sounded demonic.
Right
It sounded demonic that time.
What?
That was probably Pearl Ryan. She decapitated because her boyfriend and some other man.
Yeah, Londo.
See, I didn't get to join that investigation twice that he's been, and I've been wanting to go. So
He
that's
kind of
all
decided to
him.
leave us out.
It could have been either Pearl Ryan or it could have been Johanna, either one.
Yeah.
I understand also with the spirit box, on site while we're using it, is sometimes hard to hear what's coming through them. Because a lot of times they get really quick, or be muffled, or they just don't come in clear. That's one of the most clear ones out of the evidence what I've heard.
This next one is also was captured through a spirit box. This was at a case in Arlington that we spoke of earlier that we can't really release the name or,
I could just say this is from the demonic case that we had dealt with.
but you'll hear a voice say Mark twice, and then you'll actually hear it say D.
Who are you?
You hear Mark there, and demon right there.
Actually, it sounds like he says Mark Demon twice.
I heard it twice clear.
Now, I got a question. After you found this, have you done any research, try to find out who Mark was? Or he passed there or?
I've been trying. So far I haven't found anything.
A lot of times, even before we go on to an investigation, either myself or Jessica pull up any information on the house, the property, anything. we
Try
can
to
find.
see how many times it's been sold,
We had one. we
price
done-
range of how much it's dropped, how many
Yeah.
owners it's had from the time that it was built until the present time of the investigation.
We actually just had one here recently, when I done the research on it. This house had sold 13 times in a couple of years. And the price originally started at like, what was it, 220? And dropped down to 110. Sorry, nobody's gonna let their house go for almost $100,000 less than what it's valued at.
Say, if I remember correctly, it was built in like 82, from 82
86.
or 86 until now, it was sold over the course of 25 times.
Yes.
Well, for a while, it was being sold once a year, on like clockwork.
Almost every year,
Yeah.
almost the same time every year this house was sold.
They have to disclose that information now, even if it is paranormal. They
Right.
still have to disclose it.
Because it has to have a reason. Oh, why did this house, the realtor, be like, why is this house sold so many times? You have to tell them.
In the past, they didn't have to, but it's something.
It was more of a sensitive subject back in the day.
Yeah.
This next one was captured at the same investigation. You'll hear us ask pretty much the same question, and you'll get a voice saying Satan.
Say again, who are you?
Where is it coming from?
this was actually captured at the Jailhouse Pizza. This was pretty much her early, what, maybe second, third investigation.
Yeah, it's probably my third or fourth one.
But there they got downstairs jail cells, and the upstairs was used as death row where they used to hang them and stuff like here right there. So I was trying to get her to go upstairs by herself.
I don't do that. I don't do
That's
attics, and I
funny.
don't do basement.
That's
I'm
funny.
terrified.
But I tried to get her to go up there because she was a female, to see if they could get any response of her being a female and by herself, and she was about, no, not me.
You can't get her to go into a wide open basement by herself all the time.
No, I know what's down there. Nope.
But this is considered a Class A EVP because it is as clear as me and you talking. I mean, you hear a boy saying, "Do not scare Bill."
Somebody was taking it for you.
Well, that'd be a first, cause normally.
Yeah, he's usually-
Me and Bill are usually.
I usually
the
get
ones getting
cussed.
cussed out.
Yeah.
The last one, it was
Because
me.
you're scary.
It was after me.
The last one we just did?
The one in Evansville we did last weekend.
I was getting you Winfield.
Yeah, it wasn't very nice.
Just
It
about
didn't like
everybody
me.
in the neighborhood seemed like. Man.
I got a guy that works for me, he's into this, big time. I own a repo company, I'm all over it. When we work together, if we're up in an area where there's something going on,
Right.
we got time to kill, we're gonna hit it. And I've seen some wild freaky stuff with this idiot sitting aside.
All right, these are a few apparition pictures that we've captured, and it's also a few pictures of some of the places that we've investigated that I just played the audio from. This first picture right here, this is actually captured from Providence.
It is on there. The one that you
If
have.
you look right up here in the top window, you'll see a guy standing out. We were all outside on break, and no one was in the house.
We turn the light off? Make it easier.
Yeah, go ahead.
That'll make it a little easier to see.
Okay.
Can you blow it up, Bill?
Well, I got a close-up picture of it also.
Yeah.
Where we zoomed in.
No.
But there's a close-up picture of it up there. You can see how his arm is propped up, like a seal there. Kind of like the veins up there, eyes up there.
And I can say that this is a friend of my stepmother's, which of course I didn't know her at the time. It was before she ever got with my dad, and it was actually caught at that house.
They
And
believe it
this-
was her late husband. They think it was.
Yeah, it was, and this was in Providence.
This next one, this was at a house in Dawson Springs that I did. We always try to take at least 2 or 3 pictures back to back. That way we can try to compare them. But if you look at this small picture right here, this is a small mirror here, like compact mirror, you can see like a woman's reflection. How her veins are coming down, her cheekbone, eyes and everything.
Blurry.
Yeah, that's where I zoomed in. Is that better?
Yeah, that's a little bit better. You can see the head shape, her hair is kind of up, and then you can see the eyes and the mouth. I wasn't on this one, this was before I joined
Yeah,
the
in
team.
this next picture, you can see how it's not there. This one here was actually captured down by my brother's grave. I got a compelling feeling to go down the hill there, so I started going like something was telling me to go down the hill. So I went down there and I started getting goosebumps everywhere, and something just told me to flash a picture, so I flashed it, and you can see how the bridge of the nose, the nostril, the eyes right here, the
Cheekbones, the mouth, the
chin,
chin.
cheek, shoulder, neck. This one here was a few Halloweens ago in Dawson Springs at the Darby House. This is a thermal imaging picture, and you can see like a figure right up there.
And all of us were outside on break, because we do take breaks during our investigations to
And
go
that's the
outside.
infrared version of it right there.
Yes, and so we were
To me,
all
it kinda,
outside.
I mean, I'm just speculating, but it looks like a woman's nightgown maybe, like a head up there.
It's also very cold.
Right, exactly.
Is that the one you remember?
That's the
And
one.
this is the one my wife wants to explain.
It's 3 o'clock in the morning. I'm laying there snoozing away. He's flashing pictures. I get woke up in a dark room with lights just flashing, just flashing, just flashing. I said, Bill, what in the world are you doing? he said, I'm just taking some pictures, because I am a scaredy cat. I do not go on investigations, I do not do evidence, I do not do none of it because I am a scaredy cat. Well, he looks down, because it was digital, he looks down and he says, what in the bad word is this? And I said, me? What? He shows me that. I said, I said, we're gonna have to move. Well, in that same trailer, we had 2 entities that really, this is when he first got started, didn't know how to do the cleansings and everything that comes with it. And we have 4 daughters. They were scratched. They had seen things. We went through quite a bit there for a while.
Chloe, my daughter, even seen stuff
Yeah.
at their house.
So that was one of those.
I am scared. I ain't got life.
This one was also captured at our place. We were outside and doing investigation. Like I said, we usually take 2 or 3 back to back. Didn't get nothing in this one here, as you can see, but this next one, you can see a shadow figure right there.
And it actually looks like it's on the other side of the curb, like in between the window and the curb.
And then this one was, I think, in, oh crap, I forgot.
I don't remember that one. Was that Caitlin's? That's Caitlin's.
No, I was saying Caitlin's house. This is,
No, that ain't.
Manitou,
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Once again, took them back to back, nothing in that one, and then you have a shadow figure appearing right there. And then it's gone in that one.
Do you help them get rid of them?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, we do home cleansings and blessings on the clients and
I'll let you
for the
explain this
property.
one, this is your picture here.
Okay,
Yes, I'll let these 2 explain it, you
Okay.
took the picture and it was our house.
we moved into this trailer here in Madisonville on Crowley Lane. I'll go ahead and tell you all about that. And from the time I moved in, my daughter was probably, how old was Chloe? She wasn't even old enough to walk yet.
Maybe 2 years old.
Baby, yeah. And she would reach up in the sky for somebody, but there was nobody there. Then activity really started picking up, and my ex-fiance started seeing stuff. We were actually in an argument. He went to the room. He was cussing me out underneath his breath. Next thing I know, he starts screaming bloody murder, yelling for help. I run in there. He's then off the bed on my side, scared to death because a man had came out of the closet. So I had contacted the team to come out and do an investigation. This was in my bedroom. We use, where's the flashlight at? We use this flashlight. It's just a regular twisty LED flashlight or whatever. And we actually had it setting up on the dresser, which is right here. Now, if you look above, right there, you see a face. And it was whatever that thing was turning the flashlight on. The one in the mirror is my ex-fiance holding the camera and recording. You can't really tell it here, but there is actually multiple faces all in this. Now, what actually caused this, I played a Ouija board in my home.
Yes, what's that?
That's a diaper. It's a diaper.
It does look like a skull, but that's not what it is.
No, it was a diaper laying on the dresser.
Because I told Trish she needed to move it.
But, and during this time, we're getting the flashlight activity. My room was freezing cold. You could see your breath in that room. We were actually sitting on the bed in the covers, me and his wife were, because we were freezing.
It would go from bad enough, the living room was just on the other side of her room. You could be standing in the living room and it was 75, 80 degrees in there. You walk into that bedroom and it was almost a 40-degree drop.
Yes, you could literally see your breath. Braxton he accidentally took this picture, which I'm thankful that he did take it because we caught
I was moving
that
the camera and it went off.
thing. But so yeah, that was actually at my old trailer, and there was so much more that happened there that it was ridiculous. I had to move. I couldn't stay there anymore.
This is one place that we did in Bobby Mackey's.
Thankfully, he had a voice.
Yeah.
Yeah, that boy had the long hair.
Maddie went all old man school.
Yeah.
I know I'm old.
Now, one signs that can actually cause paranormal activity is limestone, and he didn't really get a good picture, but On the other side of these bushes right here is nothing but limestone,
Oh, that's
which
awesome.
is what we think.
And it's also got the river behind it.
Yeah,
And railroad tracks.
and all of which can cause paranormal activity.
This is the old theater workshop in Owensboro that we did. I mean, we didn't really get a whole lot of stuff on evidence, but we had a lot of personal experiences.
Yes. Now, that's important to know about every investigation. It is nothing like you see on TV. All that stuff is faked for ratings. We have been offered TV shows, we turn them down for the reason being that, and we're not about it for money. That's why we don't charge for our investigations. We want
Here,
them for free.
here the claim was a pastor's daughter was seeing a gentleman that he didn't approve of because he was apparently wild.
And older.
Yeah, and older and everything, so she committed suicide, hung herself on the.
She actually got
tower.
pregnant too, if you.
So she hung herself on the bell tower, and he walked in to find her, and he shot himself in his office in the middle room. But while we were investigating there, we did hear the bell ring on its own, and Jessica was also fondled a little bit.
Yes. Yes.
This is
The Willard
Willard
Library.
Library in Evansville.
I'm sure you guys have seen that on TV, and Taps has been there, and a few other paranormal.
We did get a few EVPs there, but it wasn't clear enough for us to make it out, so that's about all we really experienced there. This is the Jailhouse Pizza. I'll be showing a video that we captured from there here in a little bit. This is where we caught the little girl talking and screaming. This is the Bell Cabin down in Adams, Tennessee, where you heard the laughter on the recording a while ago, and where the chair, this door was slammed.
Yeah, and also in the same area where they had all the old barber equipment, you're
Right,
sitting there
yeah,
talking,
right there.
trying to get this thing to do something.
There's the doctor's office, barber shop. And every one of these, we heard footsteps, and this one right here, we actually heard the screen door open and shut. I didn't mean to pull that out.
You still have all your stuff on the page too, right? So if they didn't really see this, they can
Yeah.
go on the HCPS website or Facebook or.
Yeah, well, I mean, we got a YouTube page, Hopkins CO Paranormal YouTube.
We also have SoundCloud, which is where all of our EVPs are put on. We actually have a website that is down right now for construction, so.
This first video is where we placed a ball. And remember, this is the one from my mom and dad's place, or the one in Providence.
That's one in Providence, or the radio station, I think.
This is from Providence. You see how we got three squares of tape, and we placed one in each square.
And that's to mark where their area is, so if it moves, we know.
And this is one of our former investigators, Heather. You'll see her sit down here in a second, and a few minutes later, you'll see this ball right here actually roll. And these balls, I mean, they got the spikes on them, so it's gonna be kinda hard for this to take off on its own. They had claims of kids playing with toys, so we thought we would just give it a shot, see. And it worked out.
I'll witness it.
was there.
This one was captured in Nortonville at my mom and dad's place. They had just seen a little girl walking up and down the hallways into a certain bedroom. So once again, we placed a few toys out to see if we could get any kind of reaction.
Anybody here with me right now? Where's the lady y'all talked to earlier? Is she still here? Is there anything that you can do for us?
Yeah, that's where I asked you anything you can do for us, and you see the ball move. We thought maybe, since there was somebody sitting on the bed, that maybe the vibration from the bed may have moved it, so we tried to debunk that. So this is where we tried to, well, no, I didn't, did I put that one on there?
Probably not.
There's one for Hopkins County here at the very far end.
I guess I didn't put it on there. I'm gonna bring it up real quick just to show that I'm not lying. There it is. Well, this is where we try to debunk it. You see us bounce on the bed and the ball never moves.
Is it moving?
It's not hurting. It's shaking. It'll move.
So, this was actually captured from the jailhouse picture here, where we set up a camera in the downstairs cells.
Which one was this, put on? Was it the examiner?
Yeah,
Go.
but there was a window on the downstairs cell, and we had an IR camera facing down that way it captured the cells, and we hung a blanket up to try to keep the IR from reflecting the cough and the glare, and then you'll see what happens. Pay attention to this right corner right here. The windows are barred up as you seen, so there ain't no way air can get through there. And if it was airflow, the whole thing been moved, not just that one corner being pulled out. Do you have any questions?
I was saying that place is great, as hell as always it is.
Yeah.
It's right there on the Ohio River.
Mm-hmm.
The wind's always moving.
Exactly.
But while I was getting, did you see the right corner move a little bit before it opened up?
Yeah. This one here was actually captured in Clarksville. This involved Jess and one of her friends. And I didn't know their door was there at the moment, but I mean, you see them walk by doing a base shooting, and then they'll leave the room, and that's the only way out of that room, so.
And if you pay attention, you actually see like an orb of, or some type of light follow us. I see some type of light.
He started that.
I didn't say it.
And that was actually a bathroom that we were walking into, and that's where the sink and stuff was where we're standing right now. We were getting a base reading. Downstairs at that time. There was nobody else that went into the room or anything, and that closet was actually really hard to open.
These next two is a couple that me and Braxton decided we were gonna try a thing called a geophone. It's kind of a fairly new device. It picks up any vibrations that may be in the area, but the way we use it, we set it on the low instead of that. They hide, if you phone high, any small steps or anything, it's gonna set it off. So if it's on low, it's just gonna take more of a stronger vibration to set it off. So we decided we were gonna try it to see if we can get anything. The geophone is right down here. Are you Christopher? Okay, thank you.
Now, Christopher was the guy who actually lived in the house before the previous owners who had shot himself.
Why are you here? What is it that you want?
Is that your way of saying, telling us you're here? God, they sounded so wrong.
I don't know.
Yeah?
It got to the point with this thing, we actually had to shut it off because we could not get it to quit. And when it finally did quit, it'd start right back up.
What you'll notice about that is
And there wasn't anybody, the only people that was in there at the time was just me and Bill. Everybody else
And
was
we were
actually
both staying
outside.
still.
what you noticed before, Bill was walking around and it wasn't going off. Just when he sat still, and it went off. And that's not how the machine works.
It's supposed to pick up
Any
any
vibration.
slightest vibration.
If it didn't pick him up walking around, it should pick him up standing still.
This is a spirit box session that I did there, where I asked if you tell me who was committed suicide in the room next to me, and you'll hear it say Christopher. You don't say Chris, it says Christopher.
Starting spirit box session in the kitchen where Shadow is sitting walking through.
Same house. Is there anybody here by the name of James? Can you come through a little bit more clearly, please? Who's the individual walking upstairs? Can you tell me who it is that's upstairs in the attic? Can you tell me who it is that walks through here in the kitchen? Why are you here? What is it that you want?
You see no voices coming over, so it cuts out the all radio voices. Come through this box and talk to me and tell me what you want. Say it again louder, I didn't understand you. Who are you?
What is your name? Tell me why you're here. Who was it that killed themselves in the bedroom? That's the only voice I got the whole time that got during that session right there. Chris.
And it happens like that a lot. We sit there doing
That's the only that's the only time he responded to me the whole time I was in the kitchen. This was actually captured at her old place in Grapevine. This is where we're using a couple of flashlights. We used a big one and we used a small one.
Which are these, which you can buy at Walmart, just the regular twisted kind of flashlights. We use both of those for yes and no questions.
But we had two setting up and we were getting reaction out of one, so I actually turned the other one on and then did a little communication. Turn it off, I have a question for you. I promise I will not insult you.
That's an investigator that used to be on the team in one of the other bedrooms.
A little more. A bit more. I give you my word, I will not insult you. A bit more. A bit more. Thank you. Okay, the question I have. Have I upset someone in this house? If the answer is yes, that I upset someone in this house, light it up. I did. Okay. All right, turn it back off.
Now, wasn't that this flashlight? I can't tell if it was the
Yeah,
blue or the black one. This was the exact flashlight, so you guys
You're
can
doing good.
see and test it out
Appreciate
yourself. But it's a regular flashlight.
We've had people make comments on, well, it's on remote control.
Remote control, and
They are making flashlights on
Okay, my
remote
question is-
control.
exactly.
Was it you that I upset? Did I offend you? Okay, was it someone else besides you that I offended? That I upset or made mad? Yes, okay. Well, you see that?
Okay, did, go ahead and turn it off, please.
On second thought, can you, turn the other one on as well? You can turn them both on for me. Oh, thank you. You did what we asked, we appreciate it. Okay, you can turn them back off now.
Turn them both back off.
When I ask this next question, thank you. When I ask this question, if the answer is yes, I just want the small one turned on.
Go ahead and turn it off.
Okay, when I ask this question, if the answer is yes, just turn the small one on. Was the person that I upset a friend of yours? Was it a relative? Yes? Okay, thank you.
Turn it back off.
You notice it turned the small one on like I have. This is a video kind of describing what we were discussing earlier with the high EMF, how it can make you think you're experiencing paranormal activity. It's too high. So this is what we call a fear cage. This was actually captured up in Louisville.
What's on this one?
This is the fear cage. This is actually you and Braxton.
The high EMF was so bad it was all the way out in the middle of the yard. So it was you. We got a female voice that we captured where they asked if you were the only one here, and you said yes. Can you tell me who you are? You don't have to be afraid to speak to us. We're not here to cause you any harm or any disrespect. We were just asked to come here to find out your name and why you're here. Can you tell us who you are? Down there. We'll probably take it back down the floor. Right on the floor. 27 days. Weird. Well, why is it just free floating?
The EMF field was so strong right in the middle of the room. You could go all the way around the outside of it. Would never pick anything up. You got right in the center, about 2.5, 3 foot off the ground, and all our equipment starts spiking. And it's all in the center of the room. We go outside, get the EMF readings outside, 170, 180 out in the middle of the yard. That would be close to the house. This whole house is nothing but a big EMF field.
What caused it?
It was actually coming from, which was weird to us because I've never seen it happen. I'm used to high EMF being off of like a breaker beam. This was coming off the meters. And we were getting so high readings it was taking our stuff out. And we ain't ever had it taken out.
So it wasn't like the wiring in the house or something?
It was a combination of all of it. Because, correct me if I'm wrong, that one was a duplex originally, wasn't it? That one was a duplex, wasn't it?
Is this the one with the baby's crib?
I think, yeah.
Oh, that place was nothing but EMF. It was in the baby's crib. It was everywhere, which is why they thought that it was paranormal activity. Because that place was just ridiculous.
Really just shoddy electrical.
No, that was funny. I checked over
It was
there.
done all meters.
All the direct.
Yeah.
Code. Everything was set right, but some reason, when you ask Bill, the meter base, we was getting 160, 180, 190.
Yeah, it was, that's the highest I had ever seen EMF ever.
I've seen it there, so I'm going on, that's what I thought, 160 would break the meter. But a regular 110 should be off that much.
I'll say that Evansville.
That was over the baby's crib, so you know it had to be affecting the baby just as well.
that's too high for Baltimore West.
But your normal EMF should be anything from a 0.0 to a 0.5. Anything higher than that is considered too high. All right, now we're gonna, if y'all would like to come with the equipment, we can explain the equipment for you, to you, and show you how we use it, everything before we go, and how we do our cleansing. If there's any questions you need to have.
It's a bad picture to have on there, Bill.
I don't love clowns. Clowns get a show. Jump out of it. Stop it.
These are the K2 meters that we use to check for high EMF or anything. They can pick up spirit activity as well.
These are the K2 meters that we use. Mine's got fresh batteries, so. These are the Now, these pick up the high EMF from refrigerators.
It's just whatever's already there. They can actually use what energy it's got.
Thank y'all for coming.
We use these to check for heat.
We don't break it.
But yeah, Braxton, here's my camera.
Cannot break it, woman. There's power breakers. I gotta stop recording though.
Hit the red button.
There's not a red button. Well, I'm like right in front of the camera. There's no red button. Is that the red button? There's a red button right there. Yep, that's it.